Hello again. One of the oldest tricks of government is to pretend that something which nobody wants is really a wonderful benefit for which the nation has been clamouring. When Gordon Brown was Prime Minister and nobody wanted the ID cards which he was determined to introduce, he claimed that people had been begging him to speed things up as they were so keen to have an ID card, which would make their lives so much easier. Much of the same is now happening with the government's attempt to monitor us and find out what we are doing 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Few people wait for such intrusion in their lives. Yesterday, writing in a newspaper, Health Secretary Wes Streeting spoke enthusiastically about a new app for mobile telephones which would be able to count how many steps you have taken in a day, along with how many hours you have been asleep, and then transmit this information directly to your NHS records. Creepy or what? The aim is that we can then be, as Streeting puts it, gently nudged to make better choices. I can imagine nothing more awful, and I suspect most people would feel the same. However, within a few years, this app, which has been described as a doctor in your pocket, will be required even to book an appointment to see your doctor. Because just as with ID cards, the government knows that many people will oppose such a scheme as an outrageous invasion of their privacy, the carrot offered is an exceptionally enticing one. Wes Streeting says, and I quote, "We'll shift from treating disease to preventing it entirely." This is such a dramatic and demonstrably false claim that it is worth thinking about for a moment. The Health Secretary is saying that disease will be entirely prevented if only we agree to have all information about our bodies transmitted continuously to a government agency. Cancer is a disease. Some cancers, like lung cancer, can be caused by smoking. So I suppose if you stop people smoking, that will reduce the incidence of lung cancer. But about a fifth of lung cancer is in non-smokers, and this is nothing to do with anything which a person can avoid by personal choice, by changing his lifestyle. It simply crops up out of the blue. Sometimes it's caused by cosmic radiation oozing through causing a cell to mutate. I'm not at all sure how an app on your mobile will prevent that from happening. Remember, the claim is that disease will be entirely prevented. That is to say, there will no longer be any disease. Viewers can perhaps amuse themselves by thinking of diseases which no amount of tinkering with our lifestyles can prevent and which will not be reduced because our mobiles are telling the National Health Service how many steps we took today. The common cold is a disease. Will this app really prevent it entirely? What about influenza? So idiotic was this claim that it has made me very suspicious of the whole idea of this new app. Why on earth are the government so keen to get us all to install this on our phones that they will go to the length of telling the ridiculous lie that it will then prevent disease entirely? There is obviously more going on here than we know about, and all the publicity yesterday and mad claims are clearly designed to persuade us that only a complete fool would choose not to allow the state to monitor us all the time in this way. There is a lot more to this business than meets the eye. Unless, of course, I'm quite wrong. And it really is literally true that if we allow this thing on our phones, that it really will prevent all diseases from ever striking us again.